got myself together. I continued wiping the tables, and the bartender calls me over. She's like, hey, come over here. I want you to meet my fiance, the owner. And I simply, like, I'm so nervous and I'm so shy, but I'm like, hi, how are you? You know, I try with the best of my ability. And he says the same thing back. I don't want to seem to, so I just simply, like, I let that be that. And then we're all, like, doing stuff. I mean, like, a party gets to going in there and everything, and boom, we work out. So that night goes over great, happy, excited. I'm told to come back the next day and work more. So boom, let's go ahead and fast forward on. I don't remember the exact date, but I know it was a little before, like, my birthday. It was a little before my birthday. Or fiance would have these conversations with me, bartender. She would have these conversations with me, and she'd be like, yeah, I don't like her. She's too thirsty. She's too this. I've caught this. I've caught that. I've caught this. I've caught that. She's like, and I just don't need that around here. And plus, like, the thing with the other waitress was that she was an older woman and she didn't have any teeth. So it was like not the aesthetic that we're going for. So they were asking me to, like, did I have any friends that may want a waitress? So during this time, remember I told you guys about my friend P Nasty. If you don't know who P Nasty is, then you need to go and see what I did with P Nasty, okay? In my threesome story time. That's what y'all need to go do. Y'all need to go hear that story. I'm gonna leave the link down below for y'all. But anyways, let's put some, because I'll get caught up in that. But so I called my girl P Nasty. They really didn't like her, or the owner did not like her. He said that she had an attitude. And I said, oh, okay, you know, I'm sorry. You know, just don't mess with her. Which was crazy. I'm thirsty. Which is crazy because our sign and their sign is supposed to mesh well. So I think they just, I don't know, she did something, just got off on the wrong foot. The next time I invited my buddy, I invited her, and they liked her, you know, and everything. But this was the same day that I invited her. Like, I had invited her. I was super excited for her to go. She had did her makeup. Like, she looked super, super cute. She had her long hair. It was like, I'll insert a picture for y'all because, yeah. We have both, she drove down over there and we went together. We went to go work, and this was like the craziest day ever. Like, I just remember having a good, like, I had a good work day. I enjoyed working with Aqua because we worked at my other job together. So it was like, okay, like, we were getting cool, and it's like this was something for us. But yeah, so I asked her to come work. She agreed. We get there and everything was going good, and we both made good money and tips and everything. Like, super excited, like, and during that night, it was just going so good, but I don't know, like, the owner was acting crazy. Like, he was acting freaking, like, weird. He, like, kept looking at me in a certain type of way, and it was really making me feel uncomfortable. Like, me personally, I hate when people stare at me. It just makes me feel uncomfortable. I don't know what it is. It's not that I necessarily think that they're thinking bad thoughts about me. It's just the point, like, can you either just spit it out or, like, talk to me, like, do something, like, because that's so uncomfortable. And I don't care who it is. You do not have to just stare at me. Just walk up to me and start talking to me, and I will start talking to you. Like, yes, because I'm a vibe like that. But he was like doing all this stuff, and I'm just like, something's wrong with him. And he wasn't like looking at me like smizing, but he was like watching me. And from what I ended up finding out, he had always been watching me, but you know, he had been watching me a lot more than what I had paid attention to. So this particular night, he has one of his, I'll say one of his henchmen, one of his, what would I call this henchman? I'll call him a henchman. He was another like bartender, but he had like some other stuff going on that the owner had told me about, but that's another story. Yeah, he had him, so-and-so said, can you keep a secret? And I thought about it like, a secret about what? Because I instantly thought like, what, you want me to tell my friend that you want to talk to her? Like, is that what you want me to is that what you want to ask her about? Because that's really like, I feel, you know, she's a pretty girl, and like they have been seeing me, and didn't nobody want my bald head ass. So it's like, you know, he wants my friend, and he wants me to tell my friend that he wants her number, you know, and everything, and not to tell his fiance, the bartender. So I end up saying like, depends on what it is. So he goes like, oh well, never mind. That's what he says. He goes, never mind. So I let it go. I don't say anything else about it. I go on about my day, baby. Like, I had a good night. I made some good tips, and that night I ended up getting extra money. Because they said they got compliments about me and her, you know, working good together. So whatever extra I got, I gave it to Aquanet. I did not front about that, or whatever extra I got, I gave it to Aquanet. I didn't front, I didn't try to play her, do it in secret, no, none of that. I let her know like, hey, they gave me extra money because me and you did well, so let me give you this. Like, girl, we got this money together, like, yes. But anyways, I ended up leaving with them for them to take me home so I can get dropped off. Because her boyfriend had drove us down there. Like, she drove us to her, from our other job to her house, to my house. No, I think we went to my house first or something like that. Then we went to her house, and we got ready over there, and then we to the bar. So that night, as I'm getting in the car, we're pulling off, we leave it, I get a text message, and it says like, can you talk? And I'm like, I don't know if I can talk. So, or I'm thinking this to myself like, I don't know. So I just ignore it. I don't say anything back. I go home. I had a few drinks while I was working, which I know is probably a bad thing, but it's like when you're making money and everything's going good, get a little sip, keep you that jig move. Yes. But anyways, so the next morning from me getting that text message, I knew I shouldn't have, but I was still curious. Because he still could have, like, I thought in my head when he had texted me that, I'm like, this man wants to talk to me. Like, he wants to have dealings with me. Because he texts me. Because he's had all this time, all day. He's a grown-ass man. If her and say something or do something like that, he would have did it. But he wants to talk to me. So, he freaking, I text him back, and I respond to him, and I say, yes, I can talk. And so immediately we get to texting, and he's asking me like these questions, and they're like freaky questions. He's like, how old are you for real? like, that's not the freaky question. I'm gonna tell you the freaky question, but he's asking me all these questions. He's like, how old are you for real? Like, are you really the age that you say you are? And I'm like, yeah, I am. And he's like, well, let me see your ID. And I'm like, you know, I present him with my ID. At that time, I had an Arizona ID, so I showed him that, and I showed him my Michigan ID. I showed him both. And he still was like, dang, I can't believe, like, he's like, you don't look your age. And I'm like, okay, whatever that's supposed to mean, you fucking predator. Okay, you fucking predator. But anyways, so he asked me, he's like, because I wasn't really, I'm gonna be very honest, like in the beginning I was not very turned on by his conversation. Like, it was kind of like irritating me because he was just giving me like all these questions like to the third degree, and I really hate that. Like, what? Like, no, I don't need to tell you that much. I don't even know you. So eventually he ends up asking me, he's like, have you ever been feathered? And I'm like, what is that? What the hell is that? I'm like, I end up Googling it while we're texting. I Google like being feathered, and it shows me like all this fetish, dominatrix type stuff where like men like feathering women, and I'm like, I'm ticklish as hell. So if you fucking feather me, I'm gonna be fucking laughing like every fucking like I'm like really like But to make this very clear, he never did that to me. How upsetting. But so by now I had knew like that he wanted to talk to me because he had told me like all these questions that he was asking me. He was very like vested and interested in me and wanted to know more. He asked me about my relationship with the guy that I was dating. Like, he was just asking me so much, but I was still like always just trying to keep it like, I knew I was texting him and everything, and I was still going to work. But I would never like, I wouldn't show that we were like talking. I wouldn't even show that we like could be friends. Like, I would literally still be like in my own zone all over everywhere, making sure that I stayed like away from him. You know, like I didn't get too close to him. I waited for him to text me. I would never text him. Like, I was living like a whole like separate life, like from my actual life, my work life. Like, some stuff was going on, and I needed somebody to confide in. So I told my friend Aqua, like, you know, this is what's going on. I'm feeling freaking conflicted. Like, I don't know. I don't fucking know. What ends up happening is Aquanet, we kind of slow, so we don't need anybody, or they just have me working, or they're inviting like extra other people. Or I'm either working by myself, like I said. I'm high. Let's take a sip for that. But one day, or ever since the day that we talked, like that next day after me and her working together, like we're now talking every freaking day, and I mean every day, all day. Like, I get to work in the morning, I'm talking to him on the phone. As long as I'm around Wi-Fi, I'm talking to him on the phone. Like, I am on the phone, on the phone, and it's crazy. It's just like, it's freaking ridiculous. And I'm like, I can't get enough of him, like to the point where I'm being disrespectful, like, and I don't care because I'm on the phone with him in front of my other boyfriend. Like, I'm literally like having full conversations, like with the both of them. Like, yeah, no, yes. At times, like, and I had never done this, I was ignoring my boyfriend for him. I'm like,